Cursed. Cursed.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
I saw the boogeyman. I saw him outside.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Tomb of Terrors with me, Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another episode, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review on your favorite podcast app or become a patron, patreon.com/oldmanbrad. And make sure to follow me on Letterboxd. Just look for Old Man Brad and you can see all the watches that I do. Also, jump over to the YouTube channel. I am doing additional reviews and I'm doing Discs of the Damned, where I'm diving through mini films in my physical media collection. A lot of these films I've purchased. I'm back with another interview. I have a returning guest this week and a new movie. My guest this week is Kevin Lewis. We just talked to him a few months ago. He was on the show in December as we talked about his film Pig Hill. And now he's back to talk about his newest film, Misdirection, which comes out February 10th, stars Frank Grillo and Olga Kurylenko. But before we dive into that, if you're in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the third Friday of the month. So thankful to be partnered with the Esquire Theater to host a horror screening. Our screening for February, on February 20th, we are in the middle of a threesome of Italian films. January, we did Dario Argento's Deep Red. This month, we are doing Mario Bava's Blood and Black Lace, movie I just love. And then in March, Lucio Fulci's Don't Torture the Duckling. Come out on February 20th at 10 p.m. Let's watch a movie together. Let's talk Misdirection.
His name is David Bloom. His speech starts at 7. I don't think he'll be home before 10 at the earliest.
Remember, we agreed. It's the last one.
We saved the best for the last. I'm gonna miss being this good at something. He's here!
You know who I am? Ask yourself what you're doing in my house. You don't have much time.
A couple's trust is tested on their, quotes, big job, as their victim reveals a hidden agenda resulting in murder. Directed by Kevin Lewis, this stars Olga Kurylenko, Frank Grillo, Oliver Trevina, and others. The movie focuses mostly on these three. And this is a movie that kind of has multiple tones to it. You kind of have this heist, kind of home invasion type of film where Olga's character Sarah and Oliver's character Jason are breaking into Frank Grillo's house. I will dive more into my thoughts on the film after the interview. I will say I did enjoy the film. I did have some things here and there, either liked more than other pieces or whatnot. We'll dive into my thoughts a bit more after my chat with Kevin, and I will talk to you on the other side. I have a returning guest this week. Last time we chatted, we were talking about the legend of the pig people in Pig Hill. His new movie is quite different with Misdirection. I want to welcome back Kevin Lewis. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing good, Brad. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Cold, but doing well. Tell everybody a little bit about Misdirection.
Misdirection is kind of a throwback again to like the heist home invasion thrillers. It's kind of I like to say I got postmodern Hitchcock vibe to it. It's got Olga Kurylenko, Frank Grillo, and Oliver Trevina, and it's basically a heist thriller that takes place all in this house. And it's a lot too very dramatic in the plays of like a Virginia Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. This like the characters are going at each other and ratcheting up the whole time. So, but yeah, I had a good blast making it.
What drew you to it? Like, did you read the script and go, "Oh yeah, I wanna do this one. This sounds fun."
Yeah, that was kind of it. I mean, it was that these characters are going at each other. It takes place mostly in this house, And I love these neo-noir thrillers, you know. I love like Michael Mann and those kind of filmmakers, you know. So to do kind of a, you know, it has a horror tinge to it, but it's got, you know, it's very dramatic, which was what I love. And there's a lot of stakes involved, and it's really intense. So
As the title says in it, Misdirection, how, as you were kind of crafting it and filming it, how did you go about kind of not giving away too much of the, in air quotes, misdirection as you kind of went along?
yeah, that's the whole thing. You know, when you do these thrillers, it's like it's a jigsaw puzzle, and you're trying to make sure that you're laying enough pieces out to put the puzzle together, but you don't want to give it away, right?
Yeah.
So you're very careful on what you show, what you don't show, what you say, what you don't say, and still trying to get, you know, Oliver's character, Jason. He's to me, that's the audience. He's kind of caught between the two, and they're just trying to figure out who's saying who's right, who's wrong, you know. So that was a fun part of doing this movie for sure.
I mean, you mentioned it takes place mostly in one location, in this house. Your cast, you have like your three main cast with a very little kind of supporting. I mean, it's those three mostly that have to drive this movie. How is it just working with such a small, contained cast in this space?
It was great. I mean, we would get together. We shot it 15 nights. We would get together every night before shooting and go over the script and making sure the logic was there and what the dialogue felt real and the situation. And so that was some of my favorite time of doing that movie, just sitting there with those actors and really like, okay, this is A to B to C to D to E, you know. And then I shot listed it with Marty, the DP. He's fantastic. We shot this movie very handheld because the idea of putting the audience in that room with Jason and Sarah and what's going on had this immediacy to it, right? And there's a ticking clock that goes through the movie and in real time. So I wanted to racket the tension up with that, and I thought like handheld, like we're a voyeur inside the room. That was kind of the approach of how we shot the movie.
Were there any obstacles or challenges as you were kind of filming it more of a contained kind of story?
Prepping, you know, it was, you know, the script was at this house. They had scenes where, you know, you could hear the character would hear each other from the other wall. Well, it's like, if you don't have that, our movie was a whole glass house, right? So I knew once we found that house, we had to adapt it and change the script to fit the location. And you do that mostly on indie films, right? You find this great location. It's like, well, it doesn't have everything in the script because, you know, we're doing these indie movies. You're not building a home on stage. Exactly, right? So, but that's kind of the fun part of it, is really, you know, creatively, you know, it's like, okay, well, how do we get around this? You know, there's always obstacles coming at you every way. And so that was fun. But yeah, that was a challenge, trying to figure out, okay, this happens in this living room, but there's not this and that. How do we make that work? Does it make sense how she goes from here to there? And if you look at it, there's not a lot of distance. But if you mess with the lenses and things like that in cinema, then it's like, okay, now we're stretching it, we're making it look, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there was all that going on, you know.
Trying to find your house to set this in, were there many locations that you scouted through before you found like, okay, this one I think will work?
Yeah, we had like 3 or 4 that we really liked, but there was always something. It was like, gosh, okay, well there was one house I loved, and it was like, but it was a lot of guest homes like attached to it. So you'd be outdoors. I was like, oh, how do we light this? And there was this beautiful lake and the water next to it. I was like, oh my gosh. But it's like, okay, but how are we going to do this in this amount of time and everything? And then to find the glass house, you know, the house is a character unto itself in the movie. And so we wanted to make something that, you know, just stood out and was a fourth character. Shooting in a glass house, though, you have your challenges of reflections and all these things. So that was a challenge unto itself, but fun, because it's like you're just trying to figure out, all right, how do we make this work? How do we make it look good? And how to, you know, sell this? And we had to shoot it at nights. A lot of these things you could have tented the house and shot during the day. But since it's all glass house, it's like you had to do it at night, you know, so.
You mentioned shooting a lot of handheld. Did the house itself kind of, not just the style of movie you were doing, but the house itself, did it kind of push that even more to be like, okay, we have these glass walls, one for reflections, two for space, doing handheld to easily be able to maneuver your way through.
Yeah, it did. The bedroom was tight, so it's like it was funny because I had Video Village in the closet a lot of the times. And, when the actors are going off and the characters and it's just ratcheting up the tension, you could just cut it with a knife with what was going on there, the emotion in that room. So, it's like you couldn't have a huge crew and everything in there. And then, lending itself to, like, example, the script had the pool scene was outdoors. Makes sense. But this had an indoor pool downstairs in the basement. So it was like, oh, okay, great. Well, how do we change it to work, So, but that was a lot of fun. And when you crack that code and you're like, this is how we do it. And this could even be better because it means this and this and that. And it's like, it's great.
Another thing that kind of goes along with a heist thriller or, this style is the music. The music really adds a lot of tension, a lot of everything to it. How did you go about, who you got for the music and setting that up? Because watching it, that's one thing I noticed as I was watching. I was like, oh, I love the use of the music here. And then, there's a couple needle drops that we have in it and then kind of going from there.
When I was in prep on the movie, I was listening to a lot of Cliff Martinez because I love Nicholas Winding Refn. He's done all his movies, and just that was the vibe I wanted for the movie. This kind of postmodern techno, and so I got the Moxie brothers, Adrian and Todd. They did a fantastic job. They did the whole score, and we got that song, which it was amazing. We put that song on that end, and it just matched right there. And I have to say, Oliver, he was. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. I mean, he produced this movie, and he really did produce this movie. He knew he got Olga and Frank attached to it. He raised the financing, and then he played Jason, right? So yeah, it was a group effort, but Oliver did a fantastic job putting this thing together. And working with Adrian Todd, the Moxie brothers, they did a movie of mine called Oak, and then this is their second one together.
Yeah, the music really did stand out, and as I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, I love how it kind of set many of the scenes as the tension is amping up as you kind of go through. This comes out February 10th. When audiences kind of get a hold of it, what are you hoping that they kind of take away from it? I'm
hoping they have a fun time. It's 90 minutes shot in the arm of a postmodern, heist thriller, and enjoy the performances. I think these actors are fantastic. They did such a great job, and just, it's a throwback to these movies like Thief, that I loved, growing up. Michael Mann, early crime noir. So, I hope people really enjoy it.
With that, did you throw any kind of Easter eggs, kind of, if you went back and watched it, say a second or third time, that you could pick up on to kind of play back towards the end?
Definitely. There's moments where you're like, well, now, okay, I see it. Kind of like same like Pig Hill, right? When you look back at Pig Hill, there's things we pepper in where it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. We did that with Misdirection for sure. Yeah.
You move from Pig Hill, now Misdirection, two completely different movies from each other. And then I wanted to ask you really quick, you have another horror film, I Am Your Driver, coming soon. And from the looks of that one, I mean, again, another very different style of film where, you have these three movies that have coming out within a year of each other, but three different, very, very different styles. How did you kind of go about approaching each one? And did you learn anything from each one that you kind of took to the next?
Well, you learn every time you make movies, right? It's always a learning experience. And what's interesting is every movie's different. It's like a new football team. You're building the pieces, right? And so every movie's different. I kind of feel like I try to do what services the movie. When I read that script or work on that script or that story, it's like, okay, what's the genre? What's the vibe? What's the feeling? What can I bring to it to make it interesting? Maybe on paper, maybe it seems like, we've seen this before, but what can I do to make it a little different and unique? So all those movies, they're different. I would say that Driver that I'm working on now is more of a vein of Willy's Wonderland. It's kind of wacky, but yet the characters are playing it serious. So they're into this serious thing, but kind of around it is kind of crazy wacky. So I would feel like Driver is a little more Willy's vibe to it.
I mean, I want to thank you for coming back. I mean, you were just here a couple of months ago, but and hopefully we can have you back for when I Am Your Driver comes out.
Be great.
I would love to talk to you about that one. How can people follow along to what you have going on?
Instagram is Kevin Lewis Official. So that's like the best thing. I when things are happening, I post stuff there. And yeah.
Well, Kevin, I want to thank you so much for coming back and chatting Misdirection. Everybody go check it out. It comes out February 10th.
Thanks, Brad.
I want to thank Kevin for chatting with me again. Fellow Broncos fan. We talked some Broncos before we got on. I can't wait to have him back to talk his next film, I'm Your Driver. Sounds like it could be just a wild, fun time. But back to Misdirection. So Misdirection, it kind of says it in the title. As you kind of go through this, there are pieces of like, what do you want to believe? What should I believe? What should I not believe? And I know this movie isn't as much horror. It's more of a thriller. You have the home invasion piece to it. The end, there is kind of at first it felt supernatural, but it ended up not being that way. Before we did the interview, I said it's kind of a tale of two movies. You kind of have, it's like a heist / home invasion, and then the tables turn, and our person who is the hostage, Frank Grillo, his character David, trying to twist these other two with stories to try to make them kind of play against each other. The other characters, Sarah and Jason, kind of have their own thing, and it becomes one of those, who do you believe? Which story is the truth? Is any of it really the truth? I liked I don't want to say the misdirection of it, saying the movie, but it is a movie full of misdirection as you go along. You're enclosed in this one location in this house. It's a beautiful house, by the way. You don't know who to trust. Is Frank Grillo really the good guy? Is Olga's character the good guy? Is Oliver the good guy? Is Oliver just stuck in the middle? We don't know. It kind of plays its hand little bits at a time as you kind of go through. When you get to the end, I don't know if it was the ending I wanted more from it, but I will say I did want more of a cat and mouse chase within the house. We get it, and other people kind of show up at the house to where something happens to some of them. I kind of wanted more of that, especially when the tables turned, more of the Frank Grillo's character going after them, of like, okay, you kind of fucked with the wrong guy, and now you're going to pay. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy where we went. As we were going along, I was like, oh, I kind of want more of this. This was the fun part, the part that really got you into it. And I talked to Kevin about it too, that the music really kind of sets the tone for this. You get a needle drop towards the end of the movie that works out perfectly. I always enjoy a good Frank Grillo movie. I know he does quite a few, and a lot of them go straight to video. This was just an enjoyable thriller. I would recommend, throwing it on. You want something it's a quick breeze of a watch. It doesn't drag too much. Your time goes by pretty quickly. It's only, I think, 85 minutes. So you're in, out. You go through pretty fast. Overall, I recommend Misdirection. If you want a good home invasion heist movie, a quick watch, breeze of a watch thriller, there you go. Now for the fun part, the part that you are all waiting for. I know you are. What do I double feature with this? A misdirection. Who is telling the truth? Who's who? What's going on? What would you watch with this? This one, like I said, it's a quick breeze. It goes by very fast. Your time, you're in, you're out. And there's never any moments when I was watching this that I wanted to look at the time. Oh, how much time do I have left? Is this going to hurry up? No, you're in and out, and you're like, oh, we're already to the end? I think that's probably why I kind of wanted more of the chase, because when it got to the end, you're like, oh, we're already there? Okay. So my double feature to go with Misdirection this week is a movie that it's another quick watch, another breeze of a watch, and it's a movie that takes place during Thanksgiving. So if you ever want to put it on a Thanksgiving list to watch, that is Christy from 2014, about a college student who stays back, but then it's like a home invasion within the dorm rooms in the school with a lot of things that kind of happen. It's kind of got some very tense moments in it, just kind of like this one. It's a quick watch, a breeze to get through. I think Christy and Misdirection would play very good together as like a nice, breezy thriller evening. Well, that will do it for this episode of Tomb of Terrors. Just make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss anything that happens over here, whether it's interview episodes like this, reviews, verses, Tales from Tubi, and my year-long Paul Nashi watches. Very soon, we will have Bede from Bede versus the Living Dead to talk the werewolf versus the vampire woman. So excited to dive more into these Paul Nashi movies. I've only watched one thus far. I cannot wait. We're going to end up with about 20 total by the end of the year between here and Patreon. But yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Make sure you follow over on YouTube for additional reviews that are coming out now, as well as follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram, Old Man Brad. I will be back soon with a brand new episode. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.